Here's a swift message. I say swift because I just want to be like straight to the point kind of vibe or gist or whatever. And it's up to literally our human to do the work to be neutral. Like we actually have to like participate with that notion rather than just saying it and just kind of like having that as a particular fresh reminder. But within working up to like working for that which is neutral, literally, aside from like your, psychological muck and whatnot, that is contributed just by being in the basic dualities of 3D reality. And what's going on here is 2020, and like every year has a benchmark that releases some type of energy themes, energy signatures. And 2020, metaphorically, every year we get some type of impact of society trauma and an impact of society joy, just on a basic duality level. And 2020, sorry to jump around, but because I'm I'm an intuitive, obviously, if that's not that obvious. But 2020, metaphorically, every year has a particular type of trauma and joy. That's just the basic duality of life and 3D reality life. There's dualities, and we don't necessarily have to think about it or have emotions, but we could, because that's the duality of the human. And based on how we're thinking and the emotions that we have, that's our unique psychology. That's our particular unique, energy psychology, literally. And within that energy psychology, every year we're impacted by the energy sociology. And that energy sociology was the matrix, it being a fat computer, else, like more or less in one context elsewhere, but here it being elsewhere because it where it begins is elsewhere, but where the program agenda, we're participating in that 3D matrix reality. And as we're in that 3D matrix reality, what's going on here is there's themes of like different like puzzle games in real life reality that happen in life, because like the real like reality, it's kind of like it's an immense game. And what I mean by immense game, the like life is like the themes that we're going through, we don't contemplate the themes of life, because Pluto, his agency and what Pluto is, he's neutral about everybody and everything dying. And Pluto is on the different layers, Pluto has traveled throughout the time within the last 6,000 years, plus 12,000 years, plus 18,000 years, etc., respectively. And as he himself had different participations throughout different layers of reality, and each of those different layers of reality had their own respective beginning of time and ending of time, and quote unquote neutral recycling of time, end quote, because we don't necessarily understand how 3D reality is propped up, respectively. But that's a different, show, podcast, or whatever. But but 2020, metaphorically, that was like the surface level of a Jello block, or the surface level of a Jello cube, like metaphysically, metaphorically, like for real though. And what I mean by that is 2020 within its society, matrix theme game, every year the themes are different. The Eastern Oriental calendar, they somehow tally it up as like it's the year of the dragon. How the fuck did that happen? Like how did that calendar get put together, and how much influence does that calendar and a different, global dynamic actually have for the whole world and the Western world, the Western world being, just the northern and southern American continents, respectively, and the nearby vicinities thereof. So So we have like a chance to kind of see like where we are at, you know. So there was three main points I wanted to make in this video. The society trauma that we get to overcome, more or less, and then kind of how, like, you know, Pluto is just kind of like this is his thing of just like we're more or less kind of like, you know, remembering and we had a unique forgetting of how that agency is doing its thing. But it's not to focus on all of that, on just like what Pluto is. It's just to be aware of like that's his thing, you know, like things will like kind of like pass, and it's not to mourn or dwell over death. It's just, you know, when it's our time, you know. But we can't focus on that. We have to focus on the living. That's what Pluto, the bright side of Pluto is saying, is to say to focus on like actual like being happy, just to be like have the opportunity to be alive, you know. When there was one more point I wanted to squeeze out, and I think I kind of like mentioned it earlier. And then I'll re-listen to the video and I'll be like, oh, okay, that was the point I was trying to make. But like the society trauma, we we have unique relationships and affiliations to the collective matrix game, you know. We still have like some type of participation that is being called on us to do, like why did we come here, you know, or why did you come here to earth. And for that to have like a predestiny, more or less, that's that's a different kind of like, that's a different architecture. Okay, thanks guys. I'll be back.